Aloha, welcome back. This is video number 24. We're going to talk more about the core, more of the bottom of the core. Today it's on the pelvic floor. Most people don't really know what that is. They just only know the six pack. The pelvic floor is all the muscle underneath the core, the bottom of the core, which controls your bowel, your urine for the men and women, and for the women also the uterus. So when these muscles are weak, we tend to, as we get older, leak. When we cough, when you sneeze, when you jump. And it's very common now, not normal, but common with women and men, especially women. And people in their 50 are now wearing pads and diapers, which is not something you want to get into. And also surgery, pelvic sling surgery, because we're sitting so much that these muscles are collapsing, and all the organs, the reproductive organs of for the female, are pushing down into this hammock. So this is more like a hammock type of muscle, layers and layers. And so you want to make sure you strengthen them by just sitting up straight, pulling everything up. It gives you a sense of a long spine. But when we collapse, we put a lot of pressure on this area. Also, walking is the best exercise in the world. Very simple. You don't have to go to the gym, just walk out the door. Being active, especially when you're trying to walk longer distance, more than a mile, and walking at a faster pace, swinging your arms, you have to engage those muscles. So just by doing those two things, sitting up straight and walking at least 1 mile a day, if you can, it will make a drastic difference. But here's an exercise today that I'm going to show you. That's really simple. You can do while you're sitting, because you're sitting so much. So instead of sitting normally on a chair, we're going to sit cowboy style. I'm going to show you cowboy and cowgirl. Cowboy is a lot easier. So start off with the cowboy position, where you sit on a chair, and my chair is a little bit bigger than normal. But any chair that you can have a backing that you can turn around and sit like this, naturally, you have to sit in a good position. It doesn't feel good to slouch. Somehow, when you turn the chair around and sit in a cowboy position, it's much more, help you much more aware of your posture. So here's the cowboy position. I want to show you sideways. So when you sit in cowboy position, this is where you want to be at. Make sure you're not doing this. You still can do it incorrectly if you're not conscious, but naturally when we just sit in the cowboy, majority of people, 80%, will sit up better than normal. But if you're more aware and catch the little subtle deviation, even better. So just make sure you're sitting up straight on your sit bone, you're not arching your back and leaning forward. And from there, watch TV or even on your computer just for a little while, just to remind your body that this is much more normal to sit instead of this position. Okay? Now that's the cowboy. Cowgirl, we're going to take the legs out of the floor, point the toe. Somehow pointing the toe allows you to engage your inner thigh, then your pelvic floor, and then your transverse abdominis, and then naturally you just lift everything up. So it's holding onto the chair, shoulders down. You're going to engage all the muscle of the pelvic floor, and you're going to lift yourself up. And you're going to be off the chair. My butt is off the chair. This is a cowgirl. And you're going to really feel the inner thigh and the pelvic floor and the transverse abdominis and your posture, and back down. Now the tendency, what I see when I teach this in class, is that people go right into here and lean forward. So just catch yourself and lean back and get back into alignment, like a string pulling you up. Another thing I noticed is that they come up and they arch their back. So get back into alignment again. So for most people, they're not going to be able to come all the way up. Maybe just slightly half of the body weight off the chair for most beginners, because they're so not used to using those muscles. But over time, as you get stronger, you will be off the chair. Let me show you again. This is facing you. So my cowboy is just this position, shoulders down. Cowgirl, point the toe and lift. Try not to lean back, try not to arch your back, try not to creep your shoulder up, slide your shoulder blade down and breathe. So you find yourself creeping up, holding your breath, tensing, leaning, That's your body's way of telling you it is way too much for your body to handle right now. It's too advanced. So back off, maybe even just here. That's it. So I'm like 50% of my body weight's off the chair. As you get stronger, you can go higher and higher and higher. But for now, find your level. So I hope this is helpful. If it is, please feel free to share with your families and friends. As always, any question, Lisi at journeytofitness.com. Aloha.